Wizards fans, what's up? Russell Westbrook here. I'm here in the arena. Man, I can't wait to get in here and get to it. Appreciate you guys. Looking forward to a great season. Let's go Wizards. Me and Scotty, we've stayed in contact the whole time. And Scotty was first coach to give me a chance to go out and basically go out and mess up and allow me to do so many great things on the floor that I'm allowed to do today. And I'm grateful for his opportunity to be able to allow me to go out and play my game and do that, each and every night. So I'm super excited to kind of be back, continue our friendship, obviously, and also, to be playing for him. So I'm excited about it.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Guys, I haven't been really sleeping very well because, well, NBA training camps are here, even though the NBA offseason literally ended about 2 weeks ago, and we found out that Russell Westbrook got traded for John Wall very, very recently, less than a week ago. I figured the most compelling storyline other than LaMelo Ball so far is what's going on with Russell Westbrook and the Washington Wizards. Now, before we get to the content, please take a moment to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe, and turn on our notifications. That really helps the channel grow, and I'd greatly appreciate it. But in addition to that, dude, I pulled off the craziest thing in NBA 2K21 Next Gen. You're gonna see it in the end screen, but I was able to go back to 1949 and re-simulate the very first season in NBA history. I want you guys to check it out because it's absolutely insane, man. And as tradition suggests, we have to shout out our latest channel members, Junior Living Room and Alex S. Shout out to you guys for joining Mike Mafia as soldiers. If you guys want to join as members, a link to that's in the description down below. It's typically the first link, and all members get shouted out. Now that we got all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Guys, the Washington Wizards pulled off, quite possibly, the greatest heist that I've seen in the past NBA offseason. And correct me if I'm wrong, maybe there's a heist that I'm not currently thinking about, but moving on from John Wall, trading John Wall, who ruptured his Achilles. And bear in mind, I'm a huge John Wall fan. I have his rookie year jersey. I've been a fan of his ever since I saw that beautiful hoop mixtape of him during his high school senior season prior to him committing to Kentucky. But being able to move on from a player that wasn't getting along with Bradley Beal to begin with on the court and wasn't able to make the push to the Eastern Conference Finals on the court with Bradley Beal, who is returning from a injury that typically ruins careers, for Russell Westbrook, a player who typically is very productive but was just in a very bad system in Houston, but is at least very healthy and has a similar play style to John Wall, in my opinion is a huge W. But if you take a step back and look even further, the Washington Wizards did something else. They were able to get a player that, in my opinion, maybe I'm a little biased, but Deni Avdija was literally in my top 5 best players in the NBA draft, and he somehow slid to the 9th spot. Honestly, I thought the Chicago Bulls were going to take him, but he slid all the way to the Washington Wizards. I think that's an absolute steal for them, and today we get an opportunity to take a look at everyone in Washington Wizards training camp, whether it's Deni Avdija getting up his first shots, Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal reacting to the trade, and I want to take you through that all today. So the very first piece of information that I'd like to discuss before we build up to Russell Westbrook finally giving an interview and answering the press about questions about how he felt about leaving Houston is I wanted to first give you some footage about their very first training camp together, how it is to see Scott Brooks reunite with Russell Westbrook, how Bradley Beal feels about everything and feels about the fact that Russell Westbrook is now on his team. We're going to cut to an interview about Bradley Beal giving his impressions and his thoughts about them moving on from his only all-star teammate throughout his entire career for a brand new player that plays very similarly to John Wall, but at the same time does not. I said this in my Houston Rockets trade video that I believe Bradley Beal is a significantly better complement to Russell Westbrook than James Harden ever was. You're replacing a player that's very isolation heavy in James Harden and probably the greatest ISO scorer in NBA history with a player that's very talented in creating his own shot on the ball, but also has the ability to get open off of the ball and hit that wide open J should you find him in that situation. Now, I did my absolute best and waited as long as I could so I could get my hands on the Russell Westbrook interview, but unfortunately the file wasn't able to convert to the right format, so I'm just going to give you the 4 most important things that I heard from this interview. Starting with what Russell Westbrook says about his legacy. He says that legacy for me is how many I inspire on this journey. Me personally, my legacy is how many people I impact along the way. Now, he went on to continue to say that his mentality hasn't changed in terms of how he's going to act on the court and that he's not out there to make friends. On the floor, I'm not trying to be friendly. I'm trying to bust somebody's ass. I'm not shaking hands. I don't have time for that. This is the most interesting thing that he said that I actually agree with. He said that his goal is to win a championship and the opportunity to win in Washington is really high. Now, I understand this could be a little bold, but if you consider the fact that the East's competition isn't nearly as steep as the West, and I don't care what you say, like if you're on the West and you're with the Houston Rockets, you have to go through the Clippers, Nuggets, Lakers, I would say the Warriors, but Klay Thompson got injured, and now the Phoenix Suns. If you're in the East, you have to go through the Boston Celtics, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Toronto Raptors, and the Miami Heat. If you ask me, I feel like his path to success is a little bit easier on the East, but not by much. Finally, what he said is he sees a huge opportunity to give back in Washington. He mentions the wealth gap and the large African American population, and he's ready to get to work helping people. Russ has always been fantastic when it comes to philanthropy and giving back to the community, so that's a huge W for Washington. Now, here's how Bradley Beal feels about the brand new addition of Russell Westbrook and the Washington Wizards moving on from John Wall.
24, 48, 72 hours here. Just kind of letting it all seep in and just realizing that, your brother is no longer here with you no more. He's off to something better. So it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow, I never get into the game of playing GM, It's definitely a tough situation because John is my brother, and our relationship goes far beyond basketball, and I think that's what's so tough about it, we've developed a bond since I was in high school, and, we've had great years together, 8-9 years together here in DC, and it was definitely kind of shocking and crazy to see the news the other day, but you understand, as you said, the first thing you said is, this is a business, it's the business of basketball, and Shep is the GM, and he has to make these tough decisions, and this is probably definitely one of the toughest ones, our organization has ever had to make, and it was a tough pill for me to swallow too, but on the flip side of it, you look at it and see who we're bringing in, and you see the caliber player on Russ and what he's able to do, a former MVP, triple-double, walking triple-double, and he's going to bring a spark to our team, and the energy to our city that I think, that void won't go unfilled. John left a tremendous impact on the city of DC. He left a tremendous impact on me and my family. Our brotherhood continues. I've had conversations with John over the last few days, and they've been nothing but positivity, and they've been nothing but great conversations. And my ultimate goal for him is to be happy, But today was the first day of camp, and so I kind of have to shift my focus to the Wizards, and bringing Russ in and welcoming him and making him feel comfortable, and hitting this thing off running. I'm trying not to get emotional now, but it was tough, man, because he's a brother, and you realize that relationship was so strong, but it was so crazy because a lot of people tried to break us apart. A lot of people tried to put us apart, put us against each other, and it was just always crazy because when we came together and had those conversations, it was the total opposite of what everybody was making, the rumors and the noise. It was the total opposite. So, that's, like I said, man, that's a brotherhood that'll never be thrown away. Our relationship continues, but that last conversation it spoke volumes. But I think it definitely spoke volumes for him to just come back, for him to be able to just come back to the facility, and I'm not sure if he was hurt or if he was happy, but it just spoke volumes of who John is as a person, for him to come back and say his goodbyes to everybody. I haven't seen not many players do that ever. Well, Russ is a pro. He's one of the best point guards in the game, and for me to sit here and say, he can't make things work with other guys, well, I can sit here and say I'm not other guys either. Their games aren't like my game. I'm very adaptable. I adjust to who is with me, who I'm playing with, new guys we add. And my job is to make his job easier. Hopefully he comes in and he's able to pick up the playbook quick. But things are flying with this short little exhibition preseason we have. But I don't think it'll be a problem. I'm hoping that he comes in with the energy and the focus that he always plays with. We just need him to continue to play with that drive, play with that leadership, and play like MVP like he's been playing, man, because we have a lot of young, talented guys who are hungry to win, who are hungry to get better, and I think just Russ's energy and that, just his approach and his mental approach to the game would be perfect for us, and I'll feed off it too. I think I have a lot to learn from him. He's a lot older than me. He's an MVP. He's been there, 9-time All-NBA. So everything is there. It's just a matter of us putting the pieces together. I'm never going to judge a book by its cover until I dive into actually playing with him. So